Part 12, the Torah, teaching of Mashiach. The 10th division of the Tuat. The boat of Ra, having travelled past the 9th division, now passes into the 10th division. In the middle register, we see a figure called UNTI here, who holds a star in his hand, indicative of the night. After him are 4 kneeling gods, representative of 4 zodiacal months. The first is Horus, representing Taurus. The second is SEKHET, representing Gemini. The third is ABESH, representing Cancer. And the fourth is SEKHET, representing Leo. 3 men hold stars in their hands that tow a rope attached to a boat. With a Uranus inside, with a sun disk. Following it is a winged serpent. Standing upright. And next to it is a man holding out his hands. Here. In the position of catching blood that spurts from an animal after sacrifice. Here is the Egyptian blueprint to the Hebrew story of the Levite and his concubine, contained in Judges chapter 19 verses 1 to 5. A Levite suffers the loss of his concubine for 4 months, which, as we read in Judges chapter 19 verse 2. He travels out to find her and arrives at her father's house. He stays for 3 nights, represented here by the man. Which we read in Judges chapter 19 verse 4. And after 3 days the Levite rises, represented here by the winged serpent. To leave with his concubine, but the father asks the Levite to stay with him longer and prepares a meal of bread and drink. Not until the 5th day does he leave. He saddles his 2 asses. And we find that representation of the asses here. And takes with him his concubine. In the middle register we see Horus set with his 2 heads standing on what looks like 2 saddles with asses. The Levite travels to the city of Jerusalem, and in the representation of the Tuat, at the end of the upper register we see standing the god Horus. He therefore represents to the biblical writer the city of Zion, because we are moving this way in the Tuat. And the Bible states, and his concubine played the whore against him and went away from him unto her father's house to Bethlehem, Judah, and was there 4 whole months. And the 4 months is represented by the 4 gods here, each representing a month. Here, May, June, July, and August. And her husband arose and went after her to speak friendly unto her and to bring her again, having his servant with him, and a couple of asses, and she brought him into her father's house. And when the father of the damsel saw him, he rejoiced to meet him. And his father-in-law, the damsel's father, retained him, and he abode with him 3 days. In the upper register, we see standing the god Osiris. Before him are 5 gods. Lying upon a chain. That is grasped by a large hand. Here. The chain is held by 16 gods. And at the end of the chain lies down, as if dead, the goddess SEKHET. Here. She is lying in front of 2 groups of gods, all holding knives. Here. And they appear as if ready to chop her into pieces. So these gods are holding knives, ready to chop SEKHET to pieces. So here, the biblical writer has adapted this scene into the Tower of the Levite, who on entering the city was accosted by men. After they had beaten on the door of the house he was lodging, they raped his concubine. The Levite then jumped up the dead body of his concubine chopped up the dead body of his concubine into pieces, and sent a piece throughout the land of Israel, which we read in Judges chapter 19. In the lower register, we notice 12 men who carry a paddle. Here. And 12 females who hold a rope. Here. They are called the hours that tow alone the boat of Ra. Next to them stand the 4 gods. Here. While a monkey sits upon a platform. Here. Followed by the eye of the Achet, resting on a bracket. This scene is an adaptation of Judges chapter 20 verse 1. The gathering of the tribes, while the 12 women are symbolic of the 12 chopped pieces of the concubine standing before a monkey representing the Levite, telling his story to the tribes, using his imagination, the eye of the Ancient. So here he is telling the story before the tribes. And it states in Judges chapter 20 verses 4 to 6, and the Levite, the husband of the woman that was slain, answered and said, I came into Gibeah that belongeth to Benjamin, I and my concubine to lodge. And the men of Gibeah rose against me, and beset the house round about upon me by night, and thought to have slain me. And my concubine have they forced, that she is dead. And I took my concubine, and cut her in pieces, and sent her throughout all the country of the inheritance of Israel, for they have committed lewdness and folly in Israel. So this ends the 10th division of the Egyptian Tuat.